What's going on, guys? Welcome back to a brand new video, and today we're doing something a little different. It may turn into a series, depends if you guys enjoy it. Today we're going to be talking about what I think Canelo's stats will be in Esports Boxing Club. If there's a fight you want to see me do after this, then let me know in the comments down below. Now, I thought just on the lead up to an Esports Boxing Club eventual release, there's over 200 fighters on the roster. I could probably do one of these every single day. I won't be. This has taken a lot of work to put together. But anyways, let's just get into it. Now, from the gameplay we saw in July, we saw this screen here of the boxer creator stats broke down into 6 sections. Vitality, which consists of head health, body health, health regeneration, health recovery, and injury resistance. Stamina, which includes stamina regeneration, stamina recovery, conditioning, and endurance. Speed, which consists of agility, move speed, punch speed, and accuracy. Defense, which consists of chin resistance, body resistance, cut resistance, bruise resistance, and block resistance. Strength, which consists of left hand power, right hand power, jab modifier, hook modifier, uppercut modifier, straight modifier, and KO power. And the final one being heart, which consists of discipline, courage, and confidence. Now, obviously, the fighter on screen that we see in that image is a created fighter, a CAF, but I assume it's all the same. They wouldn't use different layouts for different fighters. I would make the assumption it would be all the same across the board. Then up the top right, there is a total overall that your fighter can have, which we will be figuring out once we do all the stats. We'll be figuring out what overall I have unintentionally given each fighter. So I'm just going to be going through them, being completely unbiased with every single fighter that I do, and just kind of giving a few rough figures, nothing like super sweat, whereas I've watched every fight leading up to it, just going off of prime versions of fighters. So for Canelo, I'm going to go off what he's achieved recently, both strengths and weaknesses. So feel free to agree or disagree in the comments down below. It's what the main reason I do it is because, I just like to talk about the game. I like to just, we all just talk a lot in the comments. It's really good fun to see everyone's hype and the enjoyment towards the game, and kind of just block out that, that negative fucking moaning that we always get. So yeah, let's jump into it. So we're going to start with vitality, and we're going to start up there with head health and body health. Now, obviously, those go hand in hand because it's just an overall health figure. Now, obviously, one thing we've all seen with Canelo is he doesn't really get hurt. He doesn't really get rocked, if ever. I think he's only ever really done the stanky leg once in his entire boxing career, and that was many years ago. So if we look at the version of him that is today, I think for body and head health, we're going to have to go incredibly high, almost at like a full maxed out 100, because even Gennadi's best shots didn't really seem to phase him. He knew they were there. They obviously hurt him. Those shots will hurt any man, but he wasn't visibly hurt. He wasn't rocked, wasn't stunned, never been knocked down. So just to avoid that top 99, I'm just going to go with, for head health and for body health, a 98. Now we go on to overall health, which I assume is just the combination of the two. So I'm just going to put 98 yet again. Now, health regeneration and health recovery is a tough one because, like I said, we've not seen him be hurt. So how do we know that he's recovered? Obviously, being in the prime, the king of boxing, most likely the cover star of this game, it is tough to not just stack his health stats out with 99s. So the only basis I'm going to go off here for health regeneration and health recovery is when he was hit by big shots from Gennadi, he wasn't immediately back in the loop throwing heavy shots. He backed up a little bit. Maybe you could rule that as somewhat regeneration, somewhat recovery. I suppose the same as when Billy Joe caught him with a few shots, when Plant caught him with a good few jabs. He wasn't immediately just swinging back. So I suppose you could say that's some form of recovery when being hurt. So I think for vitality overall, we're just going to have to, while I wanted to avoid the 99 overall like crazy, we're just going to have to just buff it and just admit that not only is his health regeneration, health recovery, and also injury resistance going to be crazy, that's just the way it is. So I'm going to say for health regeneration, health recovery, I'm going to say 95 for both of those. And for injury resistance, I'm going to drop that down to a 92 because, he's had injuries. We've seen even in the Danny Jacobs fight, a fight where he was there, he had his leg taped up, so he isn't completely untouchable from injuries. So I'm going to give that one like a 91, 92. And now we move on to stamina, which, like I said, consists of stamina regeneration, recovery, conditioning, and endurance. Now, obviously, we've seen that he can go the distance again and again and again with just like no holds barred. You know, he seems to get better as the fight goes on. He will have an incredible gas tank in this game. And while I want to, like I said before, I want to stay away from the 99s and 98s of just buffing the shit out of these top fighters. I'm going to try and be a little bit cruel with each fighter and maybe give them a little bit less than they do deserve. But we don't often see Canelo tire. Obviously, you know, he does slow down slightly, but tends to be when he slows down when he starts to throw the heavier shots like we saw against Plant at the end in that 11th round when most men would be exhausted. He'd worn him down and end up throwing those big heavy shots that eventually put him down. So I think for stamina in general, we're going to have to go with something like a 95 just to avoid going up to that 98, 99 again. And then for stamina regeneration, stamina recovery, obviously I'm just going to go with the same digit for these. And I think I'm just going to go with, you know, maybe like a 89, 90. And the reason being is because his stamina is, in his conditioning in real life is so good that it doesn't seem that he comes out of rounds or out of the corner like refreshed. It doesn't seem like he's got a huge recovery. He's just got an incredible gas tank. You guys may disagree with that, and that's absolutely fine. But I just feel like his conditioning is so good that he almost doesn't have to have the recovery section there because his overall stamina is that good. So I'm going to put those two at a 92. Then we go on to conditioning and endurance. Now, I mean, I'm just going to have to just chuck these up quite high. I mean, conditioning, he is conditioned to holy shit. I'm going to have to put that one at a 97, 98. And endurance, I mean, yet again, it's the same. I might have to go, I think we're going to have to go with two 97s for Canelo on that. Now we go on to speed. Now, of course, we've all seen his head movement, especially in the Danny Jacobs fight. However, in the Triple G fight, he was hit with some good shots that should have been easy to avoid. You know, big, heavy, quick hooks and stuff like that you know, normally he would have avoided. Billy Joe caught him with some really good shots. Caleb Plant caught him with a good amount of jabs. No man has ever, you know, mauled him and not let him move enough, you know, because he's always been able to move out of the way of a lot of shots. And he is a very, very fast fighter for someone who's at super middleweight with the power that he also possesses. So for agility, I'm going to take that into consideration of head movement as well. Obviously, there is actually nothing for head movement specifically, but I'm going to take that agility and move speed go hand in hand with head movement and, you know, the ability to slip and you know, dodge the body shots as well. So for agility, I'm going to be a little bit mean and I'm going to go with a 91. And for move speed, you know, he's not sprinting around the ring, but, you know, he is a quick fighter. I'm going to put that at a 93. And then we have punch speed and accuracy. Now, obviously, if we were to go off every single boxer's actual percentage landed, everybody would have about a 30% accuracy, because most of the time, what people fail to realize in boxing, I suppose in MMA as well, but mainly in boxing, most fighters only land between 30 and 60% of their shots per round. You know, some fighters will land 18% in a single round, and that looks awful. You know, if you know 18%, I mean that's not great. If you only throw 10 shots, well, that wouldn't even work. If you were to throw bloody 18 punches, you'd only land like 1.5, 2, something stupid like that. I think we have to take into consideration the shots that he commits on as accuracy and as well as punch speed. I mean, his speed is pretty nippy. I'm going to put his punch speed at a 90 and his accuracy at about an 88, I think. Now we go on to defense, and yet again, chin resistance, body resistance, cut resistance, and bruise resistance. Obviously, his chin is solid as fuck, so I think we're going to have to right away jump that up to 96, 97. Body resistance, I feel like he's never been tested to the body, so I'm just going to stick that at 96 as well. Cut resistance, now, he's not completely averse to being cut. You know, we've seen him have some nasty cuts on his eyebrow. It's not impossible. So just for the fact that we have seen him cut, I'm going to drop that down to a 90. Actually, correct myself there. I'm going to drop that down to an 88. For bruise resistance, bruising is a tough one because, you know, the sweat, the light, just the redness of a general being punched. Often we don't see bruises, but just for bruises in general, I'll just put a 90. And then for blocking, I mean, you know, he does sometimes get caught with good shots. His blocking isn't always top tier, mainly because he has his hands down relatively, or he has quite a light guard on. So his blocking isn't insane, but mainly due to his own choice. It's not like he's getting caught with big shots through his block. It's almost like he just doesn't use it as often as perhaps he should. So I think for blocking, we're going to drop it down to an 85. Now we go on to strength, which is a big one. This is the biggest category of the bunch, which is left hand power, right hand, jab, hook, uppercut, straight modifiers, and then KO power as well. Now if we start with the left hand and the right hand power, obviously being an orthodox fighter, the right hand is his power shot, of course. but the left hook to the body, that lead left hook to the body, like fighters like Liam Smith has fallen to it, is vicious. I think we're going to have to do him some justice with the left-hand power and the right-hand power. While he's no Deontay Wilder, and out of a 57 total victories, he's had 37 by KO. Now, obviously, we have to remember there's also a KO power stat as well. So for left-hand power and for right-hand power, I feel like I'm going to go with a 90 for the left hand and a 92 for the right hand. Now we go on to the 4 modifiers of jab, hook, uppercut and straight. Now I assume that just makes these individual shots more powerful. Now his jab is sharp, it's not powerful, it doesn't, you know, break people, but overall, you know, his jab is good. Now I don't know if this means jab modifier is in power, speed, accuracy, everything like that. I assume as this is in strength, this just means power. So for that, I'm going to go with an 85 for the jab modifier. His hooks are nasty, especially his hooks to the body. Now, this is overall hooks, so I'm going to put that to a 93. As we saw, his uppercuts are also fucking vicious. I mean, you know, we've just seen it in general. The pushback and uppercut against Plant, the uppercut against Billy Joe. The uppercuts really damage people. So for that, I'm going to go with a 94. Now for the straight modifier, I mean, he has some good straights. There's some brilliant clips out there of his pull counter straights. They are amazing, but I don't think it's as mind-blowing as his hooks and uppercuts. So I'm going to have to drop that down to an 88. Scratch that. I'm going to put it to a 90 just because some of his straights are really fucking vicious. And the last one is KO power. Now with 57 victories and 39 KOs, obviously we can't do the percentage based on 100 overall percentage. So I think for KO power, I feel like a fair stat for him would be between the 80 and the 90 bracket, nothing over 90. But I think for KO power in general, you know, he goes the distance. He's not knocking everybody out. Admittedly, he did knock out Plant. He did, you know, obviously made Billy Joe quit from that fucking shattered orbital bone. He didn't knock out Callum Smith. You know, he knocked out Kovalev and, you know, Rocky Fielding and so on and so forth. So, you know, he has put some good knockouts out there. But for me, I'm going to put that at an 88. Now the last one, which is heart, we go on to discipline, courage and confidence. Now, I feel like these just go without saying. For discipline, that's just a straight out 99. He is committed to the sport dead through. Courage, for me, I don't think there's a man he's scared of. People seem to think he's scared of certain fighters, and I feel like every boxer has the courage and confidence to get in there and fight anybody on any given day. So for these 3 stats, I'm just going to chuck them all up at 98, 99, because I don't believe there is a world champion out there that is afraid of any man. Not even Canelo, just any fighter out there. They shouldn't be at the world level if they're afraid of another man. You know, like Plant said, Plant wasn't afraid of Canelo, and that's how it should be. No fighter should be afraid of another fighter, no matter how great, what the win streak is, what the belts are. No fighter should be afraid of another fighter. Alright guys, that is it. I found the average overall of all of these stats, which have given us vitality at 96 total, stamina at a 94 total, speed at a 90 total, defense at 91 total, strength at a 90 total, and heart at a 99 total, giving us the final overall for Canelo at a 93. Now, to be honest, I would have actually said 95, 96 overall for Canelo, but through the stats that I have given him and just finding the averages of each of the stat lines and then using that to find the average or mean of all of those stats, we have been given a 93. Now, I'm not completely upset with that. This was a really fucking cool experiment for me to do. I hope you guys did enjoy it as much as I've enjoyed making it. Please drop it a like and subscribe. You know, it's been hard to put this one together and do it all like that. And the way I've done it, obviously, doing all the math to find the average of everything. So I hope you guys did enjoy it. And yeah, man, let me know your thoughts on it. Do you think I got some of the stats wrong, but the overall is pretty fair? Or do you think some of these should be higher? Because, you know, some of them are, there's a couple of 88s, 85s, things like that. What do you guys think? Let me know in the comments down below. Don't forget, as always, to subscribe. Let me know if there's a fighter you guys want to see me do next. And I will catch you guys all in the next one. Peace.